The deep hum of the mining vessel's engines reverberated through the hull as Captain Alina Reyes stared out at the vast emptiness of space. The Alpha Centauri system stretched out before them, its twin suns casting a faint glow on the asteroid field it had been methodically harvesting for the past 3 months. "Captain, I'm picking up an unusual signal," called out Zara, the ship's communications officer. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, isolating and amplifying the transmission. Alina frowned, pushing off from the viewport and floating towards the comm station. "Unusual how? We're light years from any human outpost." "That's just it, Captain. It's not human," Zora replied, her voice a mix of excitement and apprehension. "The signal structure is like nothing in our database. I think it might be alien." A hush fell over the bridge. The crew of the mining vessel Bedrock exchanged wide-eyed glances, the implications of Zara's words sinking in. "Are you certain?" Elena asked, her heart racing. First contact. The moment humanity had been anticipating and dreading for centuries. Zara nodded emphatically. "Positive, Captain. And there's more. It appears to be a distress signal." Elena's mind raced. Their ship, the Bedrock, was a simple mining vessel. They weren't equipped for first contact scenarios or potential combat situations. Protocol dictated they should immediately relay this information to Earth and wait for a proper diplomatic or military response. But that could take weeks, even months. If it truly was a distress signal, "Patch it through to the main speakers," Elena ordered, making a decision. "Let's hear what we're dealing with." A series of complex tones and rhythmic pulses filled the bridge. To Elena's ears, it sounded almost musical, yet there was an unmistakable urgency to the pattern. "Can you triangulate the source?" she asked Omar, their navigator. Omar's fingers flew over his console. "Already on it, Captain. Signals coming from the far side of the asteroid field, approximately 500,000 kilometers from our current position." Elena nodded, her mind made up. "Plot an intercept course, but keep us at a safe distance." "Zara, continue broadcasting our standard greeting package on all frequencies." "Chen, I want all sensors at maximum sensitivity. If there's so much as a stray photon out there, I want to know about it." As the crew scrambled to comply with her orders, Elena opened a shipwide channel. "Attention all hands, this is the captain speaking. We have detected what appears to be an alien distress signal. We are moving to investigate. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. All personnel, report to your stations and prepare for potential first contact scenarios." The next few hours were tense as the Bedrock cautiously approached the source of the signal. As they cleared the asteroid field, a collective gasp went up from the bridge crew. Before them floated a collection of vessels, unlike anything they'd ever seen. Organic-looking shapes with sweeping curves and iridescent hulls that seemed to shift colors as they watched. But it was clear these ships were in trouble. Several showed signs of damage, with debris floating around them in a chaotic dance. "Life signs?" Elena asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Chen consulted his readings. "Affirmative, Captain. I'm detecting multiple life forms aboard those vessels. Biosigns are, well, they're definitely not human, but they appear to be stable." "They're hailing us," Zara announced, her voice trembling slightly. Elena took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. This was it, the moment that would go down in history books. "On screen," she commanded. The main view screen flickered to life, and Elena found herself face to face with an alien being. It had a vaguely humanoid shape, but its skin was a pale blue, with patterns that seemed to pulse with bioluminescence. Large, multifaceted eyes regarded them with what Elena hoped was curiosity rather than hostility. The alien's mouth didn't move, but a series of melodic tones emanated from the speakers. A moment later, Zora's translation software kicked in, converting the sounds to stilted English. "Greetings, unknown vessel. We are grateful for your response. Our fleet is in need of urgent assistance. We mean you no harm and humbly request your aid." Elena glanced around at her crew, seeing her own mix of fear and excitement mirrored in their faces. With a small nod to herself, she turned back to the screen. "I am Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth mining vessel Bedrock. We've received your distress call and are here to help. Please, tell us what you need." As the alien began to explain their situation, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. Here they were, a simple mining crew, about to embark on humanity's greatest adventure. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that this moment would change everything. The universe had just gotten a whole lot bigger, and somehow, improbably, it was up to them to rise to the occasion. Cultural exchange. The next few days aboard the Bedrock were a whirlwind of activity. Captain Elena Reyes had divided her crew into teams, each tasked with different aspects of assisting the alien fleet, while also gathering as much information as possible about their new extraterrestrial friends. Elena stood in the makeshift conference room, staring at the holographic display of the alien fleet. The lead alien, who had introduced himself as Zaxun, floated beside her. His bioluminescent patterns pulsed gently, which Elena had come to recognize as a sign of deep concentration. "Your ship designs are fascinating," Elena commented, gesturing to the organic curves of the alien vessels. "They're unlike anything we've ever encountered." Zaxun's reply came through the translation device they'd been refining. "Our ships are grown, not built. They are living entities, bonded symbiotically with our species." Elena's eyebrows shot up. "Grown? That's incredible. How does that work?" As Zaxun launched into an explanation that was equal parts biology and technology, Elena found herself struggling to keep up. The concepts were so far beyond current human understanding that she made a mental note to have the entire conversation recorded for Earth scientists to pore over later. Their discussion was interrupted by Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's medical officer. "Captain, I've completed my initial analysis of the alien physiology," she reported, her eyes bright with excitement. "It's absolutely fascinating. Their cellular structure is silicon-based rather than carbon-based like ours, and their circulatory system. It's more like a network of fiber optic cables than blood vessels. They literally glow from the inside out." Zaxun's patterns shifted to a rapid, sparkling display that the translation software interpreted as amusement. "Yes, we find your solid, opaque bodies equally intriguing. How do you communicate your emotions without luminescence?" "Well," Elena chuckled, "we mostly use our faces and voices, and sometimes we're not very good at it." As the days passed, more and more information was exchanged. The humans learned that the aliens, who called themselves the Lumian, were fleeing from their dying homeworld. A catastrophic series of solar flares had destabilized their planet's core, making it uninhabitable. This fleet represented the last hope for their species' survival. In return, the Lumian were fascinated by human history and culture. They were particularly intrigued by the concept of art for art's sake, as their own creative expressions were usually tied to practical functions. However, the cultural exchange wasn't without its challenges. A near disaster occurred when Chief Engineer Mike Foster accidentally introduced copper into one of the Lumian ship's systems during a repair operation. The element, harmless to humans, acted like a potent neurotoxin to the silicon-based Lumian. "I'm so sorry." Mike apologized profusely to Zaxun after the affected Lumian had been treated. "I had no idea it would react that way." Zaxun's patterns swirled in what they'd come to recognize as a forgiving gesture. No lasting harm was done. This is why exchange of knowledge is so crucial. We learn from our mistakes. As repairs on the Lumian fleet progressed, Elena found herself spending more and more time with Zaxun, fascinated by his species' history and philosophy. "Our society is based on the principle of collective harmony," Zaxun explained one evening. "Each individual is like a note in a grand symphony. Alone, we are but a single tone. Together, we create music that resonates across the cosmos." Elena nodded, understanding dawning. That's why you refer to your group as a fleet song rather than just a fleet. Precisely. Zaxxun's patterns glowed warmly. You understand us well. Elena, Captain. As the repairs neared completion, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of impending loss. The Lumian would soon be on their way, continuing their search for a new home. The wealth of knowledge they'd shared would undoubtedly revolutionize human science and technology, but Elena found herself more affected by the personal connections they'd forged. I wish you could stay longer, she admitted to Zaxxun. There's still so much we could learn from each other. Zaxxun's patterns shifted to a gentle, almost sad rhythm. Perhaps our paths will cross again. Elena, Captain. The universe is vast, but not infinite. And now, thanks to you and your crew, our fleet song has a chance to find a new home and continue our melody. As Elena watched the Lumian make final preparations for departure, she felt a mix of pride and melancholy. They had accomplished something extraordinary: peaceful first contact, mutual aid, and a genuine exchange of knowledge and culture. Whatever the future held, she knew that this experience had changed them all, human and Lumian alike. Little did they know that their newfound alliance would soon be put to the ultimate test. Unexpected threat. The mood aboard the Bedrock was bittersweet as the crew prepared to bid farewell to their new Lumian friends. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, watching as the alien fleet began powering up their systems for departure. Suddenly, alarms blared across the ship. "Captain," Chen shouted from his sensor station, his voice tight with urgency. Multiple contacts just dropped out of FTL at the edge of the system. Elena's heart raced. Lumian reinforcements. Chen shook his head grimly. Negative. These signatures don't match Lumian tech. They're something else, and they're on an intercept course. Before Elena could respond, Zaxxun's image appeared on the main view screen, his bioluminescent patterns flashing in what they'd come to recognize as extreme distress. "Elena, Captain," his translated voice crackled with static. "It is the Void Hunters. They have found us." Void Hunters? Elena questioned, but the answer became apparent as the unknown ships drew closer. Their designs were angular and predatory, a stark contrast to the organic shapes of the Lumian vessels. Weapons ports gleamed ominously along their hulls. "They are a nomadic race of conquerors," Zaxxun explained hurriedly. "They seek to harvest the biotechnology of our living ships. We thought we had evaded them, but—" His words were cut off as the lead Void Hunter ship opened fire. A barrage of energy bolts streaked across space, impacting one of the outer Lumian vessels. The ship's iridescent hull flickered and dimmed, like a candle guttering in the wind. "All hands, battle stations," Elena commanded, adrenaline surging through her veins. "Zara, get me a channel to those ships. Chen, I want every scrap of data you can give me on their capabilities." As her crew scrambled to comply, Elena's mind raced. The Bedrock was a mining vessel, not a warship. Their defenses were minimal, designed to ward off asteroid collisions and solar flares, not enemy fire. But she couldn't just stand by and watch their newfound allies be destroyed. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth vessel Bedrock." She broadcast on all frequencies. "Cease your attack immediately or face the consequences." A harsh, guttural laugh answered her. A reptilian face appeared on the screen, yellow eyes gleaming with malice. "Your primitive vessel does not concern us, human. Stay out of our way, or be destroyed with the rest of this Lumian filth." The transmission cut off abruptly. Elena gritted her teeth, turning to her chief engineer. "Mike, tell me we have something, anything, we can use to fight back." Mike's fingers flew over his console as he thought out loud. "Our mining lasers pack a punch, but they're not designed for ship-to-ship combat. We could try to modify them, but it'd take time we don't have." "Wait." His eyes lit up. "The asteroid crackers." Elena nodded, catching on. "The sonic disruptors we use to break up large asteroids. Could we repurpose them? If we boost the power and narrow the focus, yeah. It won't be pretty, but it might just work against their hulls." "Do it," Alina ordered. She turned to Omar at navigation. "Get us between the Void Hunters and the Lumion fleet. Zara, tell Zack soon to get their damaged ships behind us. We're going to buy them some time." The bedrock surged forward, its mining thrusters straining as they pushed the ship to its limits. They positioned themselves in the path of the oncoming Void Hunters, looking comically small compared to the sleek warships. Sonic disruptors charged and ready, Captain, Mike called out. Alina took a deep breath. Fire. A wave of concentrated sonic energy burst from the bedrock, rippling visibly through space. It struck the lead Void Hunter ship, causing its hull to vibrate violently. Cracks appeared along its surface, atmosphere venting into space. For a moment, hope surged through Alina. But then the remaining Void Hunter ships opened fire. The bedrock shuddered under the assault, warning lights flashing across every console. "Hull breach on Deck 3, Chen reported. "Shields failing." Alina watched in horror as one of the Lumion ships exploded silently in the vacuum of space, its bioluminescence flaring one last time before fading to darkness. "We can't take much more of this, Captain," Omar warned, his hands dancing across the navigation controls as he tried to evade the worst of the barrage. Alina's mind raced. They were outgunned and outmatched, but as she looked at her brave crew, at the desperate faces of the Lumion on the auxiliary screens, she knew she couldn't give up. "Zara, get me Zack soon," she commanded. As the Lumion leader's image appeared, she spoke quickly. "We need to combine our efforts. Is there any way we can link our systems with yours? Use your biotech to enhance our weapons." Zack Soon's pattern swirled thoughtfully. "It is possible, but dangerous. The interface could overwhelm your systems, or ours." Another hit rocked the ship. "We don't have a choice," Alina insisted. "It's that or be destroyed." Zack Soon nodded. "Very well. Prepare for linkage, Alina Captain. And thank you." As the Void Hunters closed in for the kill, the bedrock and the remaining Lumion ships began an unprecedented fusion of technologies. Alina could only hope it would be enough to turn the tide of this unexpected and desperate battle. Race against time. The bridge of the bedrock hummed with an alien energy as the ship's systems merged with Lumion biotechnology. Captain Alina Reyes felt a tingling sensation throughout her body, as if every cell was suddenly more alive, more aware. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. Mike's voice came through the comm, filled with awe. "Captain, it's incredible. The Lumion biotech is integrating with our systems faster than I thought possible. Our power output has tripled, and the hull it's healing itself." Alina allowed herself a small smile. "Good work, everyone. Now let's make it count." The merged human Lumion fleet moved as one, their movements now fluid and coordinated. The bedrock's repurposed mining equipment, augmented by Lumion biotechnology, lashed out at the Void Hunters with beams of energy that seemed to bend and twist in impossible ways. One of the enemy ships exploded in a brilliant flash, then another. For a moment, it seemed like victory was within reach. But the Void Hunters were not so easily defeated. Their remaining ships regrouped, adapting their tactics to the new threat. "Captain," Chen called out, his voice tense. "I'm detecting multiple FTL signatures. Void Hunter reinforcements incoming." Alina's heart sank. They had bought some time, but not enough. The Lumion fleet was still too damaged to escape, and the bedrock couldn't hold off an entire armada. "Zack Soon," Alina called to her alien counterpart. "We need options. Is there anywhere in this system we can hide, make repairs?" Zack Soon's bioluminescent patterns pulsed rapidly as he considered. "There is a possibility. The gas giant in this system has a moon with intense electromagnetic storms. It could mask our signatures, but navigation would be extremely hazardous. It's our best shot," Alina decided. "Omar, plot a course. All ships, prepare for emergency maneuvers." As the combined fleet raced towards the stormy moon, Alina gathered her senior staff for a rushed briefing. We've bought ourselves some time, but not much. We need a plan to take out those void hunters before their reinforcements arrive. Ideas flew back and forth. Use the moon's storms to supercharge their weapons. Raid the bedrock's remaining mining charges as makeshift torpedoes. Each plan seemed more desperate than the last. Then Zara, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. What if we used the bedrock as bait? All eyes turned to her. She continued, her voice gaining confidence. The Void Hunters don't know the full extent of our integration with the Lumian tech. We could make it look like the bedrock has been abandoned, lure them in close, and then spring a trap. Alina finished, nodding slowly. It's risky, but it might just work. Mike, how quickly can you rig a remote detonation system for our remaining sonic disruptors? The chief engineer grinned. Give me an hour, Captain. I'll have this ship ready to play possum and then blow sky high on your command. As the crew rushed to prepare, Alina found a quiet moment with Zaxun. The Lumian leader's patterns were muted, reflecting the gravity of their situation. I must apologize, Alina Captain, he said softly. We have brought this danger upon you and your crew. You owe us nothing, yet you risk everything. Alina shook her head. That's not how we do things, Zaxun. You needed help, and we answered. That's what humanity aspires to be at its best. Besides, she added with a small smile, I have a feeling this alliance of ours is going to change the galaxy. We have to make sure we're both around to see it. Zaxun's patterns brightened slightly. Your species continues to amaze me, Alina Captain. We will face this threat together. Then, as the hours ticked by, the combined fleet worked feverishly. Lumian bioengineers merged with human technicians, enhancing the bedrock systems beyond anything its designers could have imagined. The ship's hull now pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, while tendrils of Lumian biotech intertwined with human circuitry. Finally, everything was in place. The bedrock floated apparently dead in space, while the Lumian ships hid among the electromagnetic storms of the moon. Alina and a skeleton crew remained aboard, ready to spring their trap. Void Hunter ships approaching. Chen reported, his voice tense. They're taking the bait. Alina watched the tactical display, her heart pounding. Everything hinged on this moment. If their plan failed, not only would they lose their lives, but the Lumian species might be extinguished forever. Steady, she murmured, as much to herself as to her crew. Wait for it. The lead Void Hunter ship moved closer, its weapons powering up to deliver the killing blow to the seemingly helpless bedrock. Now, Alina shouted. In that instant, all hell broke loose. The bedrock systems roared to life, Lumian biotech merging with human ingenuity to create a maelstrom of energy. The Void Hunters, caught completely off guard, scrambled to respond. But it was too late. The trap was sprung, and the final battle for survival had begun. Triumph of cooperation. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of light and energy as the bedrock unleashed its full hybridized power. Beams of swirling energy, a fusion of human technology and Lumian biotechnology, lanced out at the surprised Void Hunters. The lead ship, caught at point-blank range, shuddered as its hull was breached in multiple locations. Direct hit, Chen called out, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and excitement. Alina allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction before barking out her next order. Don't let up. Target their weapon systems. The bedrock pulsed with alien energy, its newly grown biomechanical tendrils reaching out like ethereal tentacles, grappling with the nearest Void Hunter ship. The enemy vessel's hull began to corrode rapidly where the tendrils made contact, as if being eaten away by some voracious spaceborne organism. From their hiding spots in the moon's turbulent atmosphere, the Lumian ships emerged, their bioluminescent hulls flaring with battle light. They moved in perfect synchronization with the bedrock, as if the entire fleet was one massive, living organism. The Void Hunters, their initial surprise wearing off, began to regroup. Their return fire was fierce, bolts of destructive energy sizzling through the vacuum. One struck the bedrock, and Alina felt the deck shudder beneath her feet. Hull integrity at 82% and holding, Mike reported from engineering. The Lumion biotech is reinforcing our structure faster than they can damage it. Alina nodded grimly. Keep it up. We need to take out as many as we can before their reinforcements arrive. The battle raged on, a deadly dance of technology and biology. The combined human-Lumion fleet moved with a grace that belied their disparate origins, while the Void Hunters fought with all the savagery of cornered predators. Suddenly, Zura called out from her communication station. Captain, I'm picking up a transmission from the Void Hunters. They're hailing us. Alina's eyebrows shot up in surprise. On screen, she ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the reptilian visage of the Void Hunter leader. His yellow eyes were wide with what Alina recognized as fear. Cease fire, the alien commander barked. What manner of abomination have you created? Alina stood tall, her voice firm as she responded. This is no abomination. This is the power of cooperation, of two species working in harmony. Stand down your forces and retreat or face annihilation. The Void Hunter snarled, but Alina could see the uncertainty in his eyes. You have not seen the last of us, he growled, before cutting the transmission. They're retreating, Chen announced, disbelief evident in his voice. All Void Hunter ships are breaking off and preparing for FTL jump. A cheer went up across the bridge, quickly spreading throughout the ship and across the comm channels to the Lumion vessels, as the last of the Void Hunters disappeared into FTL, leaving behind only debris and fading energy signatures. The reality of their victory began to sink in. Alina let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Stand down, red alert, she ordered, a smile finally breaking across her face. Well done, everyone. Well done indeed. In the aftermath of the battle, as repair crews from both species worked together to patch up the damage, Alina met with Zach Soon in the Bedrock's newly bioengineered conference room. The walls pulsed softly with bioluminescence, the visible reminder of the unprecedented merger of their technologies. Alina, Captain, Zach Soon began, his patterns shimmering with what she now recognized as deep emotion. We owe you and your crew a debt that can never be repaid. You have saved not just our fleet, but the future of our entire species. Alina shook her head, smiling warmly. There's no debt between friends, Zach Soon. We faced this threat together, and together we prevailed. Zach Soon's patterns shifted to a new configuration, one Alina hadn't seen before. Perhaps our journey together need not end here. Alina tilted her head, intrigued. What do you mean? Our mission has always been to find a new home for our people, Zach Soon explained. But after what we've experienced here, I believe we found something even more valuable, true allies. If you're willing, we would be honored to have you and your crew join us on our quest. Together, we could explore the stars, seek out new worlds, and perhaps change the very face of the galaxy. Alina felt a surge of excitement at the prospect. She thought of the incredible advancements they'd made in just a few short days, of the barriers they'd broken and the impossible odds they'd overcome. And she thought of Earth, so far away, and how this alliance could usher in a new era of exploration and discovery for humanity. With a broad smile, she extended her hand to Zach Soon. The Lumion leader extended a tendril, wrapping it gently around her hand in their species' equivalent of a handshake. Zach Soon, my friend, Alina said, her voice filled with determination and hope. I believe this is the beginning of a beautiful partnership. As the newly forged fleet prepared to set off into the unknown, Alina looked out at the stars stretching endlessly before them. What had begun as a routine mining operation had turned into humanity's greatest adventure. And now, as they embarked on this grand journey of exploration and cooperation, she knew that the best was yet to come. The Bedrock, once a simple mining vessel, now stood as a symbol of what could be achieved when different species came together. As it took its place at the head of the Lumion fleet, its hull gleaming with the merged technologies of two worlds, Alina couldn't help but feel that they were writing the first chapter of a whole new era in galactic history. With a command from Alina and a harmonic pulse from Zaxun, the combined fleet engaged their FTL drives. In a brilliant flash of light, they'd vanished into the cosmic tapestry, embarking on a journey that would reshape the future of both their species and perhaps the entire galaxy. The stars welcomed them, holding the promise of new worlds, new civilizations, and adventures beyond imagining. And as they rode the currents of space-time towards destiny, the universe itself seemed to hum with the infinite possibilities that lay ahead.